Okay, week 19 here at Agentuity. We had a really amazing week. Some of us were last week in San Francisco for the AI Engineer World Fair, and that was pretty cool. Check out some of the videos at the AI Engineer website. It was a really amazing event, 3,000 people. Swixon team put together a really cool event, and we had a lot of great time meeting a lot of awesome people. So with that, we are going to start demos, and I am going to hand it over to, for the first demo, we're going to hand it over to Matt. Matt, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. Couple updates to share this week. The first one is we got some user feedback that, once you fire up DevMode in the CLI, you get the link to go into the DevMode UI in the application, but it's kind of a pain to be able to get back to it. You have to go back into your CLI, maybe scroll up through the logs and everything to find it again. So we've made a change now in the app. We got another window open with my terminal. I'm just going to run dev, Agentuity dev real fast in a project. And if you look here in the screen, you'll see that now that the dev mode is running, we actually have this link to the dev mode. And if I kill this process, it'll go away. It also means that because it's a list, you can actually have multiple projects that you're running dev mode for at the same time, and then it'll all show there, so you can just swap between each of the dev mode sessions pretty easily. So I'm going to hop into this dev mode now. And a couple new things here. One is if you've developed any agents, or especially if you've used some of like our sample agents, you know that there's like a welcome message that you can set in each agent, which is sort of the automatic response, which shows up here, in the right side. And you can also specify some example prompts. So this is to help people that are using your agent sort of understand what capabilities your agent has, some examples of different things. And we would sort of pre-fill the first one if there was an example, but then you had to clear it out if you want to do a custom one, actually change what you're sending the agent. And also, because we're just picking a random one, if you had 5 different examples, you couldn't easily see and discover what those capabilities were. So the new thing that we've done here is we've taken all the examples that you set for an agent, and it's now actually showing them in the prompt input part. If you click on one of these, it'll automatically insert for you. It'll even change the content type as well, because it's specified in the example. So another thing that I've done is we are now showing additional validation information when you are inputting your prompt. So before, if you picked JSON, but you had text in here, we would just disable the run button, but it wasn't super clear why. So if I switch this to JSON now, you'll see that there's a little error icon, and it's kind of muted at first, but after 5 seconds, it'll go into like a more noticeable state. That's just so that it's not annoying you while you're sitting there and typing through it. If you hover over it, it'll hint to you that the input type is a mismatch. So in this case, it's text, but we're telling it it's JSON, and so we're going to alert them. Another small improvement we did is on the agent screen in the IO section. When you click this plus button to add a new IO, before we had a FAB, a floating action button, but we're adding so many new IO options so fast that it was getting out of hand, and it was kind of going off screen a little bit if you were on a smaller screen. And so what we've done now is we've just switched this to be a select field, effectively like a drop down, and it works exactly the same as before. So you can pick cron and set up your cron, it'll open that menu, etc. We're also putting all the disabled ones at the bottom and explain to you why it's disabled now. So the last thing we did is we wanted to add more information to the billing page. And so now if you come to the billing page, not only are we showing you like your welcome, $5 credit and any coupons that you might have gotten from coming and hanging out with us at a conference or something like that, we're also now showing what your usage rates or your usage summaries are. And so what we're doing is we're actually summing up every day how much cost you've incurred running on the platform. And if you click on it, we'll actually break all those costs down for you. So you can see what you were spending on KV versus gateway versus CPU versus vector store, etc. So that's in there now, and hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into your usage on the platform. That's it for me, and so over to Pedro.
Hey guys, so I don't have anything to demo today. My environment is in a bad state, but I'll talk about what I've been working on, more IOs, which is pretty cool, and there's more coming. So first one is the SMS integrating with Twilio. So what's cool about it is that if you have a Twilio account, or if not, you can create one, and then in Twilio you can have like multiple phone numbers. So when you create this IO, you can pick which numbers you want to listen to, and internally it'll create a webhook. So and then essentially it'll call your agent, right? So you can set a SMS agent, and then once you get that message, you can do whatever you need with your AI, and then send a reply back. So that's pretty cool. Changes are still in a PR pending, but they will be merged pretty soon, and then you can take advantage of that. The next thing I've been working on, so Jeff started implementing the built-in storage, object storage. So I took over that project, and it's pretty cool because this allows you to store larger documents, such as PDFs, documents, images, whatever you need. And then right after that, we're also going to allow you to plug in, to plug in with your cloud provider storage, such as AWS, Google, Azure, etc. And all of this is coming pretty soon. So that's my demo. So that's it.
Demo update.
That's my demo update. Hopefully next week I will be able to actually share my screen and show stuff. So anyway, that's it. Next up is Gabriel.
Okay. There's a lot of good news as well. I've been working on this for a while. And now we have another IO option, a bunch of IO options this week. We have now Discord integration. This Discord integration is a little specific in this sense now. Right now, the way we have it is that we have a bot. You're going to invite that bot to your server. You're going to configure the server here on the IO page. And then you can tag that bot and send whatever message to it. It's going to forward that message to your agent, and then it's going to reply to that message. I have a demo of the Agent 2 bot right now working here. It is running a simple agent that answer questions about Agent 2 itself using our LLM page that is hosted on the website. And you can just tag it and ask it, help me set a new project or something like that. The idea as well is have that bot on our server as well for triage help with help tickets. So if you have issues with basic Agent stuff, be documentation stuff or like an error pop in CLI, you can do our normal methods of help, but you can also go into the Discord help section, make a new post, and then tag the bot with your message, and it should give you basic information about it. But it's working. Formatting for Discord works. There's a lot of good messages that you can send. There's going to be more functionality coming for it soon, I hope. Like right now, we only answer with text, but I don't know, maybe in the future we can answer with more content and more Discord stuff. The CLI as well gives you a bunch of Discord-specific info, like the ID of the sender and all those things. So if you want to use your Discord API internally on your bot to do anything with the user or the data that it comes from, you can do that because we forward a lot of the Discord stuff there.
Gabe, can you show just an example of the agent code where it's receiving the
I have
agent?
It open.
Thank you.
I have it here open.
Awesome. Look how easy that is.
Yeah, so it comes from Discord message. You can grab the info here inside. I'm just grabbing the content, which is just the text of the message itself. Just forwarding it to the agent as a prompt, and then sending the reply back.
That's so great.
Awesome.
I love it.
It's really cool.
So that's my demo for today. Okay, now let's go, Joel.
You beat it, Joel.
Sorry, guys. I had to see I was on mute.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a little demo for Mem0 and how to integrate that within your code. So let's take a look. So wait, wrong one. Yeah. So here we have how to like integrate Mem0, which is like a memory layer for your agents. So all you gotta do is just instantiate it here, and then it's pretty simple to set it up within the Agent2D agent. So we have it here. Just all you gotta do, give it a user ID, and then set it up here. And then as you can see, it's like searching through your memories. And I can actually show you a little demo here from DevMode. So I can ask like Mem0, the demo I'm running is something like a Best Buy support bot. So you can ask it like questions regarding like different devices, say what issues you have. So this is like a little fun demo with Mem0. So you can say, my TV is broken. What do you recommend I do?
Go to Best Buy and buy a new one. I already know what the answer is.
Yeah.
Your warranty expired 2 days ago.
So it's currently running. And then as you see, it gave me some response, but you can actually see it here within Mem0 that, okay, it came in. So here's like the user response. And then you can also see like, it's like saved within the memories here. And you can see that it's sent as a request. So it added that here in the payload. And then also search for it as well. So this is just like a little sample of like how you can integrate different things with Agent2D and how simple it is overall. So yeah, that was my demo.
That's cool.
Over to Nicholas.
Passing it on to Nick.
Yeah, thanks. Let me just share. Okay, so I'm going to share an agent I'm starting to work on today that's a sales engineer agent or set of agents. And the first thing that I worked on today was 2 agents, one that will take an RFP document and create a JSON schema that it can use to talk with you about what needs to get filled. So this is just a one prompt agent, and then it will put that over to the sales engineer, which is kind of going to be like the orchestrator agent. So this agent will remember your session, so the form you're trying to fill out and what you filled out so far, and then it will give it the message that you type in. So it allows for kind of a back and forth conversation. So if you're talking to a sales engineer and they want to know what they need to know to fill out a form for you, so it'll collect the info from you, and then it'll try to fill out the schema. And then once the schema is filled out, it will return your form. So right now it's just using text as a proof of concept, but I made a little app to test this. So all you have to do is just boot up the project in dev mode. And then, so I have just a very, very simple document that you can use by default. And so now it came up with this schema for this document, which is right. So then if you were to say, talk about your project, you could send that message where, I've given it some information. And then it fills out the new thing. The only thing I need to still implement is I need to switch how it is processing the schema internally, because the way that the prompt works right now, for some reason, if you give it new information, it forgets old information. But that's a fix that I'll definitely be able to quickly change. But that's the state of it right now. Once you give it everything in one, it'll say JSON object is complete, filling out template, and then it returns the filled out document.
How much money, Rick, will we have paid for that in past sales things. Oh my gosh.
I know a lot of time once that gets fleshed out, that'll be great. I'm also thinking like, man, there's so many RFP things, public RFP things out there. It's like, hey, sales engineer, go scrape all the RFPs and draft answers for all of them.
That's a cool idea. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Even just having passed RFPs, one of the real problems, we fill these RFPs out all the time in an enterprise type selling kind of thing. And then a new RFP comes in and you've already answered a bunch of these questions, but they're obviously written differently. So just having like a repository of all the past answers and then like a new one comes in and having it fill out your answers based on it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna
Yeah.
start incorporating like memory into the agent and stuff like that. That's next steps. I think it could be pretty cool.
That's awesome. Great job.
Thanks. Yeah, that's it for me though. So I'll pass it to Dylan.
All right, thanks, Nick. Let me share my screen. So today I kind of built a full kind of end-to-end startup monitoring system using both Agentuity and Aiden, which is a workflow software. And so yeah, this startup scraper agent basically kind of fetches and summarizes the latest startup news from the web and from a few different sources and structures in a JSON format. And I kind of wanted to do this project to show basically how like Agentuity agents can be integrated with external platforms like Aiden, and also to demonstrate web scraping and summarization in this type of environment, which Aiden can't do natively. And so kind of how I set it up is I have index.typescript basically handles the post requests, parses the inputs, activates all the functions, pulling the articles, summarizing them, and then returning it. And then I have fetch feeds, which is responsible for scraping the RSS feeds, filtering by specific keywords, and then returning the article links. And then I have summarize, which, like it sounds, sends each link to GPT-4o Mini. And we have a couple different keys that we want to return in our JSON object. So we structure it like that. And then we have types.typescript, which is just responsible for some of the shared types of inputs and structured summaries. And then, yeah, I could kind of show you kind of how this works inside an Aiden software. So you see here, kind of we have, it's set up in a 3-node system, 3-node workflow. And so it starts with the schedule trigger. So basically how I'm going to set this up is every morning at 9 a.m. or so, it could basically send a trigger to this HTTP request. And then basically what it will do is sends a post to the Agentuity API URL for that agent, for the scraper agent, and it uses a Bearer token for authentication. And there's no input required because it's just already set up because this only has one specific purpose. So the agent fetches and summarizes the startup news on its own, and you can see on the right side, kind of returns it in this JSON structured format. And then eventually, it's not set up properly yet, but we basically will be able to have an email system that you can basically email to a certain person, or even kind of connect it with your Slack or a Notion database or whatever you kind of might need. But that's coming soon. Still working on that part, but yeah, it's kind of what I worked on today.
Nice. You know what the funny thing is, that exact flow, I know N8N has this big workflow builder with all those integrations, but that exact flow actually works in Agentuity because you have the cron job, now we have the email, we have all that, which is funny. But I mean, obviously N8N has like this fan out of like, thousands of integrations and stuff like that. But we've got a lot of people that have asked like, hey, how do you use N8N with this? And like I asked yesterday to somebody, I said, well, what can't you do in N8N that you need? It's like, well, I can't scrape websites. I'm like, oh, well, Dylan's working on that right now. So that's perfect. Worked out good.
Perfect. Yeah. Leave it to you, Rick.
Oh, my turn. Okay, cool. All right. Worked on a bunch of stuff today or this week. There's like a ton of blogs coming out. We'll have like 2 a week scheduled, which is really good. And then work with some of our users. Shout out to some folks at Vercel and folks at T3 helping us out, iron out the kinks and stuff. So it's been really good, really helpful. So things are starting to feel really good, especially when we get feedback like that. So it's great. What I want to demo, so we have this like Summer of Agents project, and that's where like Dylan and Joel and Nick are helping us with all these agent examples that you see. And so one of them I took off the list this morning since it's Agent Friday, and it was a coding agent. So can you make a coding agent work in Agentuity where it's in the cloud, but it works locally? So that was kind of my challenge this morning. I'm kind of excited about it. So I'm just going to kind of wax eloquent and talk about it. So one of the actually, you know what? Let me just share my screen. I'm going to draw, and it's going to be the worst drawing you've ever seen in your life, but I don't care.
Oh my gosh, you're going to do a Theo drawing?
Oh my
Please tell
goodness.
me you're using Excel Draw. Please use Excel Draw.
No, I'm not going to do
Theo's
that. I'm
going to
going to
be
use
so happy. Oh, come on,
TLD draw, bro.
But I
TLD
thought
draw.
TL Draw, it's all AI. There you go. That's it right there. That's
How do yeah, that's exactly it. What do I do here?
that's what he's building right there. Can't you tell? Oh God, that's awful, Rick.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's like your child drew that or what?
Everybody go away. All right. So pretend this square is your local computer. Pretend this square is the agent running in the cloud. So for a coding agent, it needs to do tool calls, right? It has to do like grep and modify the file and then do a git diff. Well, the agent can't do this over here in the cloud, right? So what you have to do is you have to have a client here, which in my demo I'm going to show you in a minute is a CLI client. And so that client talks to our agent, right? So then the agent, so like, well, I'll show you in a minute, but I'll say like, hey, write me FizzBuzz test, 10 iterations or whatever. Actually, that's probably what I'll do. And then, so then it hits the agent goes and talks to the LLM, right? And then the tool calls start coming in. So now there's like tool calls. And so Claude's, let's see, we use Claude. Oh, well, we need to like find the files and do this and create the thing. Well, this agent can't do that, right? Because it's not on the file system. So what I do is I have this tool call proxy. That's what I've created. I feel like there's a cool name for this. You know how in functional programming it's called continuation something pattern. I don't remember what it's called, but it's continuation. It's like where you pass a function into another function and that passes those functions into another whatever. That's called continuation in functional programming. By the way, I'm not advocating for functional programming, but that is a pattern. So it's like almost like there's like this tool called continuation, but it's like distributed continuation. So it's like, okay, hey, this LLM call goes, hey, I need to make a tool call. I don't have the tools. So what I do is I pass the tool call back. I stream it back to your CLI client. The CLI client then executes like, create the file, and then takes the results, streams it right back, and then it continues. The agent continues on with what it was supposed to do. Hey, I made the tool call. So you almost like fibbing to the LLM, like, hey, the tool call's done and here's the result, even though it wasn't done in the execution runtime. It was done outside of it. And it works. It actually works really well in Agentuity, and it's not that hard. All right, are you with me so far before I keep going? Yes, no? Joke stories, candidates. All right, so let's show the CLI. So let me demo it first. You actually can run bun install and it'll install a CLI, and it's called Coder. And you can run like Coder local or whatever. There's a bunch of things you can do. Actually, this is cool. You can run setup on the first setup. This will all be in the GitHub repo, and it'll actually install a configuration file. You can tell where you want to point, local or remote, all this other stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to kill this right now. All right. So let's do run CLI.js, and then it's -- local. I'm just going to run it. Oh, let's make sure H2 is running. Okay, good. All right, so here's the coder. It's kind of like a Claude Code, right? Or Codex. And so here you can do things. Remind me if I forget, guys, there's this /context. I want to talk about that because that's really cool. But I can be like, write me a test for FizzBuzz up to 10 iterations. And so then it'll like, do your coding agent thing like you're used to. So again, it's calling over to the agent. The agent's like hitting the LLM, it's getting the tool call, it's coming back. And I don't know why it hasn't responded yet. Oh no, demos. Oh, there it is. I'll create a proper test file. Oh, it's a British agent. A proper test file. So you'll see it's like requesting the tool execution, right file. So that's in the cloud, right? But then it sends it back to the CLI and then it actually does it. So there, now you can see it's like, it's creating the thing. There you go. And and by the way, the execution there, whoa, I got to fix the ugly thing there. This is, I got to fix, well, not fix. I just need to make that prettier. But you notice right here, it says running FizzBuzz test and it's test 1 pass. All this is passed. That's because, we actually use, is it RZA or Rizzo? How do we call it? We met them last week in RZA. We met them last week in the AI Engineer World's Fair. So I hooked up an execution sandbox as well. You don't have to do it, but if it's code that can be executed, we pass it off to that and execute it, and you can see it's there, which is pretty cool. Let me actually kill this, and then let me open it up. I'll show you the files and stuff. So there's our test right there. So it created this file. It created this little FizzBuzz. And then there's the test. So it actually executed this in RZA, which is kind of cool. But it created it, again, remote cloud agent, created this locally on my computer. All right. So now if you're with me, quick little demo of the code. Again, this will be an example in our repo that people can just clone and make their own. They'll have their own cloud coder thing. So tools, of course, we have in the system prompt. So this is continuation request. That's important because as you're talking to the agent needs to know, hey, is this a continuation of a tool call that was just invoked and I had to pass it to the client? Is it or not? So we have to check that out. Of course, I keep track of the session ID in our key value store because that's important. And there you can see, is it continuation or not? And let's see, anything more important? Oh, I didn't talk about the context. So this part here, let me run this again. This context. Let's see if it works. So I actually keep track of everything you're doing, and you can say, hey, I'm working on authentication now. And so it'll take that whole session and go, hey, this has to do with authentication. So you can be like, hey, I want to continue on authentication again, even if you switch to something else. Actually, it kind of tells you here, here's what you did last. Really cool. You created this FizzBuzz, and it's like, hey, if you want to keep remember what I'm working on, and it'll remember it in the key value storage, which is pretty cool. So that's something I don't think I've seen people do in these coding agents yet, but that's what that context does. So that's pretty useful. So the key thing here, remember I talked about the tools and how they're mocked out? I'm literally creating mocked out tool calls. See how the function is just like tool captured? So we're passing just the name of the tool back to the CLI, and the CLI then goes and executes it. So it's just completely mocked out. So we're kind of fooling the LLM. So it's invoking it, and then we're taking that and passing it to the CLI.
How do you oh, I see. So the LLM basically sends that back to you, and then you know to then basically go back to the client.
Exactly. Yeah, we stream that tool call back to it, and then the CLI has a continuation handler and goes, oh, I'm continuing something. Let me take that and run with it. So
really,
which is
really cool.
Which if you go to the CLI, which is the client, that's where you get your input and all the typical CLI handle. I think I'm using Commander Inquiry with this. So in here you'll see, where's my? I think I passed it. The font is so big on my screen. Here it is.
Continuation handler right there.
Yeah, there it is right there. So we're getting it, and we're like, hey, what's the results? And then we're streaming it back and forth, but it works pretty well. Pretty cool. All right. That's pretty much the demo. I think, I mean, again, like there's all sorts of, like, you can run, you don't have to run in interactive mode. You can just put quotes and go, what can you do? And it'll just like, one time off running thing too as well. So it'll do stuff like that. And I can't wait to release that. And then everybody will have their own coding agent in the cloud or locally, however they want to do it. And that's it.
really cool.
Yeah. So any questions, jokes? Can't wait to try it. All right. Well, let's close it out. Thanks everybody. Thanks again to a lot of our customers and community for hitting us up and helping us out this week on some of the some of the frictions. We're really sensitive to those. We drop anything we're doing and fix it right away. So really thankful for that, and can't wait to show you what we're doing next week too. Thanks everybody.